Today, Oklahoma's beauty and beasts, from a lovely place to dine in Muskogee to some beastly exhibits at the Sam Noble to a search for the beast himself, Sasquatch.
Travel with AAA's Discover Oklahoma.
Hi, and welcome to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. I'm Jennifer Reynolds.
And I'm Dean O'Lally.
We're coming to you this week from the Sam Noble Museum of Natural History on the OU campus.
This place is very, very impressive, and it's also a great location from which to do our show tonight because all of our stories have sort of a Beauty and the Beast theme to it.
That is exactly right, and we're going to find out more about this gorgeous museum in just a bit.
But we're going to start with beauty tonight. In fact, you could call it timeless beauty in Muskogee, from the gorgeous food and the lovely atmosphere.
One of the first things I noticed about Miss Addie's was the building. Built in 1915, it was the original drugstore in Muskogee, and the owners were Carl and Adelaide Smith. And the name for Miss Addie's came from the druggist's wife. But Toby Fikert has been here now for the last 21 years, serving up delicious food for lunch and dinner in a cozy, comfortable atmosphere.
Lunch generally is soup, sandwiches, and salads. We have quiche as one of our specialties. And we also have different types of homemade soups. We have roast beef sandwiches, Southwest turkey grilled sandwiches, several items.
Nothing beats the winning combination of tasty food, great service, and a good atmosphere, and Miss Addie's certainly has all three and more. Toby says they have a rather large group of devoted regulars who come in all the time, and Toby and the staff will know most of them by name, or at least know what kind of food they like. But they also get a lot of people from out of town.
A lot of the hotels recommend us. We're one of the few privately owned restaurants in Muskogee, more the mom and pop, or what you might see in a big city type restaurant. Really word of mouth.
And when you have very flavorful food like this, what is there not to talk about? Their tortilla soup is a favorite among many. Their quiche is a signature dish. For dinner, they are known for their salmon and ribeyes, grilled scallops and duck, as well as numerous salads. And of course, finishing off any meal with dessert is a good thing. At Miss Addie's, there's chocolate cheesecake and one of my favorites, bread pudding. Oh, and you can't forget about the cookies.
The Miss Addie's cookies was a project that we took on about a year and a half ago, and we had a distributor here locally ask us to formulate a cookie similar to what we do here at the restaurant that they could distribute.
Toby's wife runs the cookie part of the business, and she also does decorated cookies used for weddings and anniversaries. Miss Addie's, as I mentioned earlier, is known for their salads, and you can even take home some of their famous salad dressings.
People would always come in and ask us to package our poppy seed dressing, or our wine paprika dressing, or our Greek vinaigrette dressing, and we would package it up in a styrofoam container. Well, we felt like maybe that didn't show off as well, so we came up with the concept of the packaging it ourselves, and we sell a lot of salad dressing now.
And don't forget, you can also purchase one of their cookbooks they have on sale here that contain over 300 separate recipes used at the restaurant all the time. These are tried and true recipes developed over the years and are guaranteed to make anyone happy. Miss Addie herself would be proud.
And to find out more about Miss Addie's tea room and pub, including the hours, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com for links to all the information you'll need.
Now, not only was the food outstanding, as I mentioned in the story, I do love the old historic building where Miss Addie's was located, but it also was the kind of story that by the time we got there, videographer Walt Cox and I were very, very hungry.
You know, I don't want to compare you two to the Sasquatch,
but you're going to anyway.
I am. There's a guy that's carried around a pretty significant hunger. You know, there are some people who say that Bigfoot's just an urban legend, or maybe a rural legend in this case, but there are some who are determined to find them. And among those is our Shell Wagner, who took her family to southeastern Oklahoma in the pursuit of Bigfoot.
There are hundreds of thousands of protected acres in the wildlife management areas of Oklahoma's Kiamichi Mountains. This is mostly untouched land where bobcats and mountain lions live freely, and even black bear are known to exist in numbers that may surprise you. So is it totally out of the question to consider that another wild species lives in the deepest, darkest parts of the forest? A species that's large.
It's an extremely tall animal, maybe 10 foot, with an extremely long tread.
That's smart and stealth-like.
They're super intelligence.
A creature that travels at night, discreetly.
It's very definitely got to be a primate from everything I've seen. And probably have a better sense of smell since it is not quite as civilized as most of us than we do.
Could Bigfoot really live in these southeastern Oklahoma mountains? Mentioning Bigfoot in some circles might elicit chuckles or perhaps an eye roll, but not around here, and especially not in Honubby. The Indian Highway here in Honubby is known as the home of Bigfoot. It was along this stretch where Native Americans and early day explorers logged encounters with giant hairy bipeds living along creek beds deep in the wilderness.
You don't have to see them to know they're here because they leave their evidence and you hear their sounds.
Cleat-certified private investigator Roger Roberts came to Honubby a few years ago when he got a call that a Bigfoot had been shot by a homeowner.
You could see shadows, something. I don't know what it was. I'm not saying it's Sasquatch, but there's something back there.
That something that night is thought by some locals to be several Bigfoot creatures who dragged away an injured Bigfoot.
Whatever it was large. So I took my mag light. It was so powerful that you could see the blood vessels in the eyes. I just like, whoa, what is this? You know, I wasn't expecting to see anything.
Convincing stories of Sasquatch encounters are plentiful and many are published, and musing over them around the campfire can add a new dimension to your southeastern Oklahoma camping trip. My family and I didn't bump into Bigfoot on this particular expedition, but several times we felt like we were on the verge. After all, evidence of him is everywhere. This is the Bigfoot favorite at the Honubby Creek Store and Cafe. Looks good. The Bigfoot favorite is a delicious cross between a hamburger and a ham and Swiss. Well worth the drive whether or not you spot a Sasquatch. A giant sandwich meant to sustain you, so that you can get back to the mission at hand, awaiting your own encounter with southeastern Oklahoma's legendary beast. In Honubby, I'm Shel Wagner.
To plan your own expedition to southeastern Oklahoma, just go to travelok.com for a comprehensive listing of all the area attractions, lodging, and dining options.
Shel got into the story so much, she brought this back to the office. This is, yes, a Bigfoot air freshener, pine scented.
I was hoping it wasn't Bigfoot scented.
I don't think it's going to smell like pine.
Well, don't run off just yet. We'll take a tour of the Sam Noble Museum of Natural History. More beauty and a few more beasts when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues.
We had some family members that had switched to AAA and they kept telling us how much money they were saving and found out they could save us money too. And so we ended up switching. We have 3 kids and there's not a lot of money left at the end of every month. It ended up saving us quite a bit. Our car insurance alone saved us probably about $600. Any money you can save during the month and have some left over, that's a pretty big deal. Having insurance is important. Having affordable insurance that you can trust is a blessing.
Want to get away? Oklahoma road trips are fuel for the soul. To get your motor running, visit travelok.com for brochures, inspiration, and loads of savings. A few clicks will put you on the open road to adventure. At travelok.com/road trips, it's easy to find a getaway that moves you. We've reinvented the road trip. Come along for the ride.
Approximately a year and a half ago, my friend Gary Wise, who I go to church with, had become a AAA agency, and he had asked me, he said, let's just check, see what we can do.
We tried to compare apples to apples to his current coverage.
And my premium went down $800 for the same insurance for this house. I was tickled. I mean, $800 is a lot of money. Go see Gary. Get your AAA insurance. It's head and shoulders above the rest of the companies.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma, highlighting some of our state's beauty and some of its beasts.
You keep looking at me when you say the word beast. Is it the beard?
It's totally unintentional.
I don't have to have a brick wall fall on my head. Well, in keeping with this week's theme, we are talking about Beauty and the Beast, and we're coming to you tonight from the wonderful and very cool Sam Noble Museum of Natural History in Norman.
This seemed like the perfect place because it has some beasts, it has some monstrous things, and it all has a certain brand of natural beauty.
Much like history itself, the Sam Noble Oklahoma Museum of Natural History has evolved over the years. Originally founded in 1899 by an act of the Oklahoma Territorial Legislature, many people visited what was once the Stovall Museum on the OU campus.
One of the biggest pieces that people may remember who might have gone to the Stovall Museum is this piece behind us, the Mammoth, which was the biggest showcase piece that was in the museum at the time. But it was small, it was very simple, and it was a very small staff running it. They worked very hard to promote Oklahoma's natural history and to educate the people that came in, but going from that small space that they had and the collections, you know, throughout the university campus to having everything under one large roof. It's 198,000 square feet of space here for the collections, for the education, and for the museum galleries. It's a wonderful facility.
And that wonderful facility now houses 7 galleries, starting with the Orientation Gallery. It will take you through the research and collection side of the museum and focuses on how the artifacts are collected.
And then after the Orientation Gallery, you can come to the Hall of Ancient Life, which is about 300 million years of Oklahoma's history, dating back from when Oklahoma was underwater to prehistoric titans such as the Apatosaurus and Saraphagonox. And then we have the Hall of Natural Wonders upstairs and the Hall of the People of Oklahoma, so you can see Oklahoma's natural landscapes and the cultures and the people of Oklahoma. And we also have 2 exhibits, gallery spaces that have temporary exhibits that we showcase throughout the year.
One of the most consistent comments heard by the staff is how kid-friendly the museum is. But it is indeed for kids of all ages, from toddlers to grandparents. It truly is a fascinating place. While completely hands-on, everybody can touch and feel and experience 400 billion years of Oklahoma's history. The staff here is always working to bring more fun, education, discovery, and more fascination to everyone who comes in. And don't forget, the museum is also a great place to host a wedding, a reception, meeting, or any event that you may want to have. So check it out.
To find all the fun and educational exhibits at the Sam Noble Museum of Natural History, hours of operation, special tours, or hold a birthday party here, just go to the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com for all the information you'll need.
And speaking of information and beauty, I'll tell you something else that has those qualities. This little gem right here, Oklahoma Today magazine.
And the newest issue is on newsstands right now. In Oklahoma Today's January-February issue, you can read all about the newly named Oklahoman of the Year, Larry Nichols. Get an insider's look at the man who started Devon Energy and changed downtown Oklahoma City's landscape forever with the brand new Devon Tower. We hope you're hungry. This one's for all the breakfast lovers out there. You'll find a guide to more than 80 different breakfast spots around the state. Everything from German to Guatemalan. Whether you're hungry for a substantial plate or wanting a lighter fare, this list is for you. Last, but certainly not least, get to know Oklahoma's official state animal, the bison, and get a peek at his life in the Wichita Mountains Wildlife Refuge. Subscribe online at oklahomatoday.com or pick up your copy at select bookstores around the state. Oklahoma Today, the magazine of Oklahoma since 1956. Lots more coming up, including a trip to Woolaroc in Bartlesville.
But up next, one of the largest elephant herds on the continent.
Speaking of beasts, we got your pachyderm paradise when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues.
We had some family members that had switched to AAA, and they kept telling us how much money they were saving and kept telling us that we should look into it. And so we decided that we should go see what we could do. We have 3 kids, and there's not a lot of money left at the end of every month, and so any penny that you can save is a big deal. AAA was something I always heard of when I was growing up, and when people talked about it, they talked about it in a reliable way. And so when we switched to AAA, it was something that we just trusted from the beginning. It ended up saving us quite a bit. Our car insurance alone saved us probably about $600 a year. Our life insurance, we were actually able to double our coverage, and our premium still went down close to about half as well. Again, it's not something you ever want to think about as you grow up and become a grown-up with a family, but it's definitely something that you need to have. Having insurance is important. Having affordable insurance that you can trust is a blessing.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma, coming to you this week from the Sam Noble Museum of Natural History in Norman. 50,000 square feet of amazing stuff to see and do and touch and learn from.
They've got it all here, and you will want to allow a lot of time when you do come here because the place is, well, it's giant.
It is that, and along those same lines, let's head to southeastern Oklahoma now to meet some gentle giants. Our Shel Wagner introduces us to what is the largest herd of elephants on this continent, and the people who are committed to protecting them.
We at Discover Oklahoma have brought you all kinds of spa stories over the years, but this place for pampering in Hugo is different.
They get their pads trimmed and their toenails buffed and everything, and it's a real health thing. A lot of elephants die in the wild because their feet get infected.
Barbara Miller Bird grew up with elephants. She's a third-generation circus owner whose grandfather first brought the big top to southeastern Oklahoma 70 years ago. And through the years, more than 20 different circuses have called Hugo home, and 3 still do. The whole town, from the library to the local eatery to the cemetery, reflects the longtime circus heritage here. A lifelong love affair with elephants inspired Barbara's parents to create this place, the Endangered Art Foundation, in the early 90s.
And the purpose of it was to try to perpetuate the Asian elephant in the United States. It's a dwindling species, endangered species, and so we're trying our best here to keep them going.
You see, elephants can no longer be imported to the United States. And so it's estimated that at the current birth rate, in about 30 years, there will only be a couple of surviving female elephants in North America. And those gals will be too old to have babies.
And it would be such a shame if the United States, if children all over the United States lost the ability to come and see elephants or ride elephants or feed elephants.
But breeding elephants is a tricky prospect. There's but the narrowest window of time when an elephant can conceive. And once she has become pregnant, she stays pregnant for nearly 2 years. Can you imagine? But besides perpetuating the breed, the Endangered Art Foundation is also a haven for older elephants.
Say it's kind of like a Social Security system that the young elephants go out and perform and earn money, and it all goes back to taking care of the elephants.
That are retired.
Right, that are retired or that we're trying to get pregnant, or the males that don't go on the road.
This is the largest elephant herd on the North American continent that is accessible to the public. You are invited to get up close and personal with these girls, and there's a reason for that.
You can look at pictures or you can look at videos or see them from a distance, but it's not the same as when you actually come up and can touch them and hear all their little squeaks and things, and just look them in the eye, and then you fall in love with them. And if you do that, you're going to care about their existence, and you're going to help maintain them for generations to come. Don't leave your hand in there though. Take it back out pretty quick, okay? Because she wants that apple. Yeah.
Barbara. Elephants have about the same lifespan as humans. They have 4 sets of teeth. They can sometimes break their tusks, but the tusks grow back. And something else I didn't know, elephants can enchant you, if given the chance. The folks at the Endangered Ark are working to make your tour experience even more enchanting. Plan to visit when the destination reopens in the summer of 2013. The Hugo Chamber has all the details. At the Endangered Art Foundation in Hugo, I'm Shel Wagner.
All right, stay right where you are.
We're headed to northeastern Oklahoma next, to the country home that oil built when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns.
In early April of this year, we had one of the most violent hailstorms I've ever seen in my life. And my wife called me, and you could hear the noise over the telephone. By the time I got home, got out here from town, there was hail everywhere. Baseball, size hail, golf ball, everywhere. My truck was beat to pieces. It was a pretty violent hailstorm. I called my AAA agent, Gary Wise, a friend of mine, asked him what the procedure was, give me the phone numbers, we need to turn this in.
We hope to always be there whenever they need us, and that is the most important client that we have, is the one that we're talking to at the time.
I feel AAA has treated me with the utmost respect. I feel like they went above and beyond to be respectful of our time and our property.
AAA definitely is there for the right reason. The president of the insurance company called and asked, what could they do to help Woodward and help our clients in their time of need.
Welcome back. AAA Oklahoma makes this show possible and does a lot of other great things around our state. Here's a look at today's AAA.
Hello, Chuck May here with AAA Oklahoma. Remember the first time you heard the words, "Mom, Dad, can I borrow the car?" Boy, I sure do, from all three of our kids. Driving's a huge step for teens, and it's a milestone for us parents as well. It's important that new drivers receive the best training possible. That's why AAA's Take the Wheel Parent-Taught driver education program for teenagers is so vital. Oklahoma law lets teenagers who complete a driver's education course, including AAA's, drive at an earlier age. They can get their unrestricted license at age 16 and a half. Otherwise, without any kind of driver's education, it's 17 and a half. Plus, with AAA's Parent-Taught program, Take the Wheel, your team will receive an insurance discount up to 25% with AAA Insurance Company. AAA membership is not required. Until next time, may the road lead you to exciting new discoveries. Whether it's insurance, travel, or peace of mind on the road, think AAA every day.
AAA for the ones who matter most to you.
All right, tucked back into the magical Osage Hills lies one of my favorite places to visit, and it was all built by oil.
Frank Phillips built it and called it Woolaroc. It's just outside of Bartlesville, and it's perfect for our theme of Beauty and the Beast because there are beasts there from buffalo to longhorns and a beautiful museum filled with magnificent artwork. Perhaps it's most noticeable during the quiet of winter when the copper-colored native stone harmonizes with the grays and golds of the landscape. But in a still moment on the back porch of the Phillips family lodge at Woolaroc, you might just hear the whispers of those who enjoyed this same view so many years ago, from powerful politicians and businessmen to foreign dignitaries and Hollywood celebrities and everyone in between.
A cast of thousands. The number of guests that Jane and Frank hosted here between 1925 and 1948, estimated at between 200 and 250,000 people.
Jane and Frank, of course, are Jane and Frank Phillips of Phillips Oil Company fame.
The wonderful thing, too, about Mr. Phillips is he was as comfortable in a meeting with the President of the United States as he was with the Wildcatters that were working on his rigs, and he had them both here.
Frank Phillips was a passionate man and a unique personality, but he could be practical, too. And he built this retreat for practical purposes, primarily as a business tool.
He often said that if he could get a man to Woolaroc, he could get anybody to sign any contract.
Mr. Phillips recognized that in this spot amidst the Osage Hills he loved so dearly, a special brand of magic was evident, and it still is. Perhaps that's what makes Woolaroc so difficult to describe.
You wish you could express to people how neat it is.
Inside Woolaroc's 3,700 acres, herds of buffalo roam free, as do elk.
We have water buffalo, we have zebra, we have Texas longhorns.
There's a massive art museum with a world-class collection.
People ask me how long does it take to go through the museum. Well, you could fly through it in about 45 minutes, or you could spend probably a couple months going through it.
Kids especially will love the animal barn, where the ranch's youngest critters are nurtured.
I encourage people when they come here to set everything else to the side and just experience what Woolaroc is.
Because this retreat, whose name honors the woods, lakes, and rocks of nature, also holds those whispers from the past.
There's a unique piece of history here, not just Bartlesville's, not just Oklahoma's. There's a national history that's here at Woolaroc, and people need to come see it.
Woolaroc's a year-round attraction, so there's always something going on there, and we'll link you to their informative website from the Discover Oklahoma page at travelok.com. Well, that's our show for this week. We hope you've enjoyed meeting some beauty and some beasts, and we want to thank the folks here at the Sam Noble Museum in Norman for hosting us.
This is a fantastic museum, and we also want to thank you very much for watching.
Next week, this one's for the books. The history books, that is. We're serving up some historic food options in Okmulgee, remembering the Civil War in Shakota, and over in Norman, the American West is revealed. Hope you'll join us.
So until next time, remember,
there's always something to discover in Oklahoma. Production vehicle provided by the Oklahoma Ford Dealers, official partner of the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department.